the philosopher who refused to die. The forgotten trial that shook civilization, he stood calmly in front of his judges, knowing full well what their verdict would be. Guilty? Not of murder, not of theft, but of corrupting minds with questions. His name was Socrates, and his death wasn't the fall of a man. It was the execution of an idea. We talk about democracy, reason, and freedom of thought as if they were eternal truths. But once, just once, the very birthplace of those ideas betrayed its own soul, the shining jewel of ancient Greece. A city of poets, warriors, and philosophers. A city that gave us the concept of democracy. Athens. And yet, it sentenced its greatest thinker to death for asking too many questions. What does that tell us? He wandered the streets barefoot, asking questions that made people uncomfortable. What is truth? How do we know what is good? Socrates was not like the other philosophers. He didn't write books, he didn't give long speeches. What is justice? He didn't claim to know the answers. He simply asked until the mask of certainty cracked. The powerful hated him for it. Because when you question everything, you reveal how fragile power truly is. For years, Socrates tolerated the mockery, the anger, the accusations, until one day, the state could tolerate him no more. He was charged with impiety, disrespecting the gods, and with corrupting the youth of Athens. In truth, his real crime was something far more dangerous. He made people think, and for a society that feared chaos more than tyranny, that was unforgivable. His trial was public. Over 500 citizens voted, and yet, even in court, Socrates refused to beg for mercy. He spoke with fire and calm, saying, "I know that I know nothing," challenging every man in that courtroom to reflect on their own ignorance. And when he was given a chance to propose his own punishment, do you know what he suggested? Free meals for life. Like an Olympic champion. Because in his eyes, he had served the city by forcing it to examine itself. But Athens didn't want to be examined anymore. The vote came. Death by poison. Even then, Socrates did not run. His friends begged him to escape. They had arranged it all. But he refused. Please, don't forget to pay the debt, because for him, truth was not something to preach. It was something to live, even if it meant dying for it. So, he sat quietly, drank the hemlock, and as the poison reached his heart, his final words echoed. Crito, we owe a rooster to Asclepius. The meaning, he was thanking the god of healing, as if death itself was a cure, a release from illusion. And so, the voice that had challenged an entire civilization was silenced, but not buried. His student, Plato, was in that room, and what he witnessed became the foundation of Western philosophy, because when a man chooses to die for truth, his ideas live forever. This is where the story should end, but it doesn't, because the deeper question is not why Socrates died, it is why Athens killed him. The same city that praised free speech, that built academies, that celebrated reason, destroyed its own prophet. Why? Because no society, no matter how enlightened, is immune to fear. Socrates wasn't killed for being wrong. He was killed because he was right. Too early, too loudly, and too fearlessly. He exposed the illusion of wisdom. He challenged the comfort of belief. He forced the city to see its own contradictions. And people don't forgive those who hold up a mirror to their souls. That is the danger of truth. Some live, some are exiled, some vanish quietly. But the pattern remains. It liberates. But first, it destroys illusions. And illusions are what most people live in. We still live in a world that celebrates the idea of free thought, until it becomes inconvenient, until someone asks the wrong question, until someone refuses to play the game. In every era, there are new versions of Socrates. Truth is not destroyed by lies. It is destroyed by silence. And that silence begins when we stop asking why. Socrates taught us that philosophy is not about answers. It is about the courage to keep questioning, even when the answers are uncomfortable. Especially then, he died in 399 BCE, but his questions are still alive. What is justice? What is a good life? Are we free, or are we just pretending? You don't have to be a philosopher to feel the weight of these questions. You just have to be human, because somewhere inside all of us, there is a voice that whispers, there must be more than this. Socrates listened to that voice, and for that, he died. But he also lit a fire that no poison could extinguish. And now, we must ask ourselves, what if we've been taught only half the truth?